Welcome to Beyond the Bell here from the M&S Bank Arena, as they are really packing things away here. Darren Barker and Mike Costello, fantastic job as always.
Thank you, mate.
On comms. Let's go straight to the main event. Diego Pacheco getting the victory, stopping Jack Cullen in the fourth round to a body shot as well, and then a barrage at the end. Let's just go straight to Diego. How good is he? I mean, he's beyond the prospect level now, isn't he?
Yeah, I think that was a statement of some sort. We know how good Jack Cullen is. You've got to be good to beat him. And I think Diego Pacheco, again, proved he's a violent puncher. He's spiteful. He looked comfortable and composed in there.
Yeah.
I felt Cullen done the right thing to start with. He had to hold the centre of the ring. He had to try and get Diego Pacheco's respect. And you do that by getting in front of your opponent. And he done that. But he just didn't look unfazed or he looked in his element, if I'm honest, in that ring. And yeah, proving again that he can punch.
And he's got that loose languid style. I saw him in the workout in London earlier in the week, and he just finds his way around the ring so kind of casually, as if he owns more of the ring than the opponent does. And look, we can get too gung-ho about beating Jack Cullen, and I thought also Cullen had successes that a better fighter might have been able to build on, but that only adds to the exciting nature of this Pacheco, that down the line, as he moves up in grade, as Tony was saying on air, he won't get that much thinking time, but he'd also have opponents who will take advantage of the successes that Cullen had. So there's this danger that he can be caught, and that makes him so exciting potentially in the future. And we cannot forget, even though he's been a pro for nearly 5 years, he's 22.
Yeah, he's basically a baby when it comes to boxing. Not phased at all as well, was he? I mean, you mentioned in comms that you saw him in London. Didn't seem phased there, didn't seem phased by the atmosphere here at all. Just seemed to take everything in his stride. Yeah,
I mean, look, he's born to do this. You know, he's from a tough part of the States. South Central and California. It almost looks like that's his safe place in the ring, you know, and he's just a very good fighter. And like Mike said there, not the complete package. He was caught with shots, but they're little gentle reminders. You're not going to have things your own way. He's going to have to tidy up on certain things and go back to the drawing board and work on things, but that makes him even more exciting. There's more to come from Diego Pacheco.
And he does use what he's got. I mean, I was looking at his reach, which is 79 inches. That's longer than Alexander Usyk. That's longer than Joseph Parker. So there are many heavyweights out there who don't have that reach advantage, but he uses it. And it's interesting that Jack Cullen said in sparring with Callum Smith, Smith does very similar in that he loves the backhand, having swayed back. And that works so well for Pacheco, has done throughout his career, but particularly tonight. But for a big man, he spends so much time going to the body as well. There's great variety in his work. Yeah, he seemed to show every single punch in the book tonight. What does Eddie do with him next? Is it a case of just keep him busy for 2023, where you fight maybe faded guys, former champions, or do they take a risk? I mentioned Edgar Berlanga, just a name that popped to my head, just because, again, he's unbeaten. He's now signed to Matchroom in America. Do you risk him with someone like that, or do you just take it easy still?
I like the Berlanga fight, but in perhaps 2 fights' time, you know, a couple more. I wouldn't necessarily call him tune-up, but you've got to remember he's still physically maturing, which is very exciting if you're a fan of Diego Pacheco, because he's looking so physically strong and spiteful already. But you can look at his physique, there's still more maturity, physical maturity to come. But look, I think 2 fights' time against probably just slightly tougher opposition, then you're pretty much ready to go.
Yeah, and more time to bed into this new gym and sparring with David Benavidez. That kind of work behind the scenes is just as important as what we're seeing under the lights.
Yeah. Quick word on Robbie Davis Jr. I want to mention him because obviously, look, we saw the horrific injury. Everyone grimaced when we saw it. Look, credit to Dara Foley as well in getting the job done, but you never want to see an injury like that, especially at his age as well. What is he, 34? And you do wonder, and I hope I'm wrong, but you wonder if you can recover from that and have a boxing career after.
Yeah, look, he's in the twilight stages of his career. He's worked so hard to get where he's at. A defeat, however that comes, is very damaging to your career. It was a bad injury, but what worries me, if I'm brutally honest, is look, Foley's tough, he's physically strong. This was his moment, but not a big puncher. And I know you can get caught early and dropped, but you shouldn't be getting dropped by Darragh Foley, and that's a worry. And I just feel I wouldn't necessarily say the writing was on the wall, but it's a bad injury to suffer at this stage and at that age. It's going to be hard to come back for Robbie Davies.
Yeah, given how long that injury will take to recover from.
Yeah.
Not just in terms of coming back here on the big nights, but even getting back into sparring. I think the age of 33 hasn't got a lot of time, and clearly from that shot we saw tonight, and even against Javier Molina last time around when he had plenty of uncomfortable moments, that punch resilience isn't getting any stronger. And so it's going to be a long, long way back.
I need a quick word from both of you, very quick word, because we do want to wrap this one up. Katie Taylor versus Chantel Cameron announced May 20th. We do go to Dublin. It looked like that fight card might not happen, right, after Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano was scrapped. Katie Taylor was like, no, I'll fight you at your weight class. Let's do this. I love it.
I'm buzzing. I'm buzzing. What a great substitute.
Oh, fantastic.
It's brilliant. I'm over the moon. And my birthday's on May 19th, so even better. I'm buzzing. Look, do you know what I love about this, aside, the fight aside, is how easy this fight was to make.
Yes.
You're talking about two undisputed world champions, and they both just put their hand up, said, we want the fight, it's done. And I think there's other fighters, etc., should look at that and say, that's how we should do it.
I remember back to commentating on some of Carl Frampton's fights, and I know a lot of Irish fans in particular were hoping to go to Croke Park outdoors for Katie Taylor, but this will be indoors in an amazing cauldron. Some of those nights with Carl Frampton, I know that was in the north of Ireland, but when the Irish get behind their fighters, there were times with the headphones on that there was a kind of a crackle, a sizzle that almost burned your ears. And that's what we're going to get used to on May the 20th, because we won't be able to talk like this at any stage during that night.
Can't wait. And happy birthday for May 19th.
Thank you, mate.
Well, it should be an absolutely fantastic night. What also should be a fantastic night is next week, Saturday. We're going to Newcastle. We saw a prospect in Diego Pacheco today, put on a good performance. We're going to see some of our prospects as well, hopefully put on good performances. Newcastle next week, live on DAZN. We'll all be there, so make sure you tune in and join us.